There's a lot of competition for the annual award for the most miserably failed British institution. We could give honourable mentions to the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, which is basically now an aquatic Uber service for Albanian sex traffickers, or the National Health Service, which has done a splendid job of ramping up its waiting list to well over 10% of the entire population of the United Kingdom. That's a long list, but the good news for you, Mrs. Gladys Scroggins of 27 Acacia Gardens, is that you've now moved up from number 7,437,212 to number 7,437,209. Oh, no, wait, sorry, you're back down to 7,437,210. There's an Albanian with an ingrowing toenail that needs seeing to. Or the European Court of Human Rights is going to come down on the government like a ton of post-Brexit Euro bricks. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, the annual award for the most miserably failed British institution. There remains no more comprehensively failed institution in the realm than the British Constabulary. Britain is the land where everything is policed except crime. If your car's broken into, there's not a copper to be found, but if you misgender someone on Twitter, a six-man social media SWAT team will be at your door in minutes. The public tends to assume that when you call 999 and get redirected to the answering machine at the Central Customer Service Centre on Rock Hall, it's because the Constabulary are off doing their beloved precision Macarena routine at the Lincolnshire Pride Parade or the Ballymena Ramadan Festival. The most embarrassing headline in the history of so-called British journalism from the Lincolnite. Look at this headline. Police officers impress crowd with Macarena dance at Lincoln Pride. I seriously doubt whether there is a word in that headline that is true. Nobody's impressed by the Macarena. It's a dance for people who can't dance. Try doing it on Strictly and see what Len Goodman or Darcy Bussell make of it. Nevertheless, after I mocked the Lincolnshire Police's Macarena on this channel, the Police Service of Northern Ireland rose to their defence by doing their own Macarena in support of their brethren in Lincolnshire. Oh, look at that. Oh, my word. That's in Derry or Londonderry. It doesn't matter whether you say London, Derry or Derry, because on a small island riven by centuries of sectarian division, finally both communities came together to agree that the PSNI totally suck at dancing. The Royal Ulster Constabulary, so what you like about them, but they could do a mean paso doble. The Black and Tans could do a passable foxtrot. Even the Royal Irish Constabulary was renowned in the 19th century for its mazurka. But these god-awful police Macarenas are not a small thing. They symbolise what's gone wrong with British policing. As Parm Sandhu, former chief superintendent at Scotland Yard, said on this show just a couple of months back, only 1.3% of all recorded crime even leads to a summons, to a court appearance, never mind a conviction. And we know that that 1.3% is overstated because the Met and other forces are massaging the figures by not recording a lot of crime. So the crime clear-up rate in the UK is now all but statistically undetectable. So it's not like a beloved community institution letting its hair down and doing some club-footed Macarena. It's a totally failed institution that's Macarena'd its way miles from its mission. And the Macarena is the way of the plods putting their arrhythmic flat feet on one side of the scales of the culture war, particularly with respect to transgender activism. The British police are rubbish when it comes to burglary, rape, grooming gangs, Albanian prostitution rings, but they're on it in seconds if it involves women with penises. As you know, these days, huge numbers of women are hung like stallions, and apparently that's the way the coppers like it, so that's what they spend the whole day investigating. In September, Kellie-Jay Keen, founder of the group Standing for Women, went to Brighton for a rally called Let Women Speak. 2 months later, the Sussex police telephoned.
So someone has actually made an allegation against you about a hate crime. So we do actually need to speak to you about that matter as part of our investigation.
Yeah.
So what we do need to do, we need to get you to come down to Brighton, ideally, so we can have this voluntary interview.
Mm-hmm. And when you say hate crime, specifically what hate crime would it be? Because I think to be a hate crime, there has to actually be a crime. So what is the hate? What is the hate attached to?
I'm going to read out. So it's the crime is use of words or behaviour to stir up hatred on the grounds of sexual orientation. So basically it's going to be a voluntary interview. So it's the story as well. So, you know, we're not putting anything against you. You can bring a solicitor with you if you'd like. It's just so we can bottom out your side of what's gone on.
Oh, your side of what's gone on. And all you have to do is give up a day to travel from Wiltshire to Brighton with your solicitor.